United Nations Secretary General says the world is heading for a catastrophe unless climate change is prioritized.
Climate change is the crisis of our lifetime, is the defining issue of today's world.
Scientists believe America's breadbasket could soon be empty, and they're warning a relentless drought is harming the nation's wheat crops.
It has been a year of extreme weather. Devastating floods in Pakistan, drought in Somalia with millions threatened by famine, and record-breaking heat in the UK. We've got to peak carbon emissions before 2025.
There's much less ice here to reflect heat and more exposed ocean. It's much hotter than it used to be. These beluga whales, they're swimming in water.
There has been indeed a tendency to put climate change in the back burner, and that is why it is so important.
The UN has published today its roadmap for saving the world from the worst of climate change. But it comes with a massive warning. It is now or never.
It sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Welcome to an event dedicated to forging a sustainable future, a future for the next generations, for the longevity of our planet. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us as we warmly welcome our distinguished guest to grace the stage, Her Excellency Mariam Almheiri, UAE's Minister for Climate Change and Environment.
Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Farhan, I remember when you came to me and said we want to make something very visually appealing, something that moves us all. I congratulate you and your team, PureHealth, for putting this together. And yes, the house is on fire. I can only say that when we see these visuals, it really moves us to say we must do more, and we're already on a wrong track, but we've got the chance, we still got the hope, we've got technologies that are available to put us back on track. Now, I have a speech here, but to be honest with you, it's just watching what we saw through the tunnel. The only thing we can see is climate change and our health is extremely interlinked. We're very blessed here in the UAE. Not only do we have the political will and the leadership that are so forward-thinking, we have our minds, which are our assets, and we understand that there's so much we have to do with ourselves. We have to change our lifestyles a little bit, reflect a little bit on what we're doing that we could be doing differently in order for the things that we've seen here to decelerate them and make sure that we have a better planet for our children and our children's children. And really, we're in the year of sustainability. We're in the year where we're hosting COP28. Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Sultan and Jabir, for being here with us today. He's got a big mission on his hands, convening countries together and trying to get everybody to do their part in ensuring we keep our planet cool. Keeping 1.5 degrees alive means we have to reduce our emissions. If you can imagine, we're polluting the air, we're polluting our seawater, we're polluting our water, we're polluting our food. It's all impacting our health. So climate change and our health is inextricably interlinked. And so we have to always see this is not just about what governments are doing or what the private sector are doing, it's all of us as well. We have a big role to play, and you'll be pleased to know as well, and again under the leadership of Dr. Sultan al-Jabir, at COP28 there will be a health day. And this is because we know that climate change and health are so interlinked together that we have to bring awareness, we have to do more on this as well. I'm sure you saw the news yesterday. A lot of initiatives came out from the cabinet. One of them, and again, I have to thank all of you, for your support in this. The UAE announced the third update of the second NDC. Now, NDCs are about countries talking about their nationally determined contributions, which means what are their goals and what are their targets for reducing emissions to help keep temperatures down. And we were able to improve our targets. Last year, we announced a 31% reduction. We were able to improve this now to 40%, which means the UAE is on track on the net zero pathway by 2050. Again, we were the first country in the region to announce a net zero 2050 strategic initiative, because we realize this pathway, it's not just a pathway of reducing emissions, by the way. It's a pathway of a new way of living, a new way of doing business. It is the pathway we have to lead for us to be able to live longer or have a better quality of life as well as we age. So with this, I want to keep my speech short. Farhan, thank you so much for inviting us. And I think this is a big eye-opener. And I would love to see more people to see this impact that you've put together here. So well done. Thank you so much.
And now, with great honour, we invite our next guest to take centre stage. His Excellency, Mansoor Al-Mansoori, Chairman of the Department of Health, Abu Dhabi.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. It's hard to speak after Her Excellency Mariam, so I'll try my best to meet the bar. And I'm thrilled to be here today. The interlinks, as Her Excellency said, between climate change and health are undeniable. Global climate change challenges continue to cause profound disruption to our environment, with far-reaching consequences on human health. The UAE, with our leadership, has proven track record in sustainable actions and continues to magnify sustainable developments at local and global level across all sectors. Over the past years, it was evident that the UAE has taken great strides towards a sustainable future through building bridges and fostering consensus to accelerate inclusive climate progress for the planet. Our country is the first in the region to commit to an economy-wide reduction in emissions, and the first to announce a net zero by 2050, a strategic initiative translating its commitment to raising the ambition for climate action. With COP28 only a few months away, we cannot be more eager to convene on our land with key global figures and organizations. And I quote His Excellency Dr. Sultan Al-Jaber, with his quote, to mobilize actions around major course corrections on climate and accelerate emissions reduction while ensuring energy security. Having personally worked with His Excellency Sultan in the past, I'm assured that our global climate change agenda will continue to expand and soar high. As the famous saying states, it's not enough to be in the right place at the right time. You have to be the right person in the right place at the right time. And His Excellency Sultan is the right person at the right time and at the right place to move this agenda forward. So thank you, Doctor, for all your efforts. It's just a highlight. It's genuine. I worked with him. Under the directives of our leadership, DOH continue to lead the health sector, working hand in hand with our partners and ecosystem players to drive the sustainability agenda, with an ultimate goal to reduce carbon emission by 31%. Now it's 40. Well done. And net zero by 2050. DOH launched the sector short and long-term sustainability goal earlier this year. The department has lined up sustainable operation related to chemical, food, procurement, transportation, and water, while promoting nutrition and sustainable food systems that are locally produced. Parallel with focus on waste management, we continue to enable the sector to decrease, treat, and safely dispose healthcare waste. Furthermore, alongside our partner from across the sector, we have established a solid governance model for green hospitals with Abu Dhabi-specific accreditation and labeling. We are confident that through our valuable partnership, we will be able to unify efforts and collectively shape a healthier tomorrow for the planet and the people. On a final note, I would like to highlight and thank our valued partner, Farhan at PureHealth, and his exceptional team, because organization is all about people. So I would like as well to thank the people behind the initiative to achieve net zero goal, not 2050, but 2040. So thank you again for contributing to our achievements.
Our planet is wounded, and now we need to heal it.
Longevity is possibly the greatest challenge we face today as a society. And when we talk about longevity, we don't just mean increasing lifespans of people, we mean increasing their health spans. Making people healthier for longer. So we need a healthcare revolution. The most valuable commodity humankind has is time. The world is changing exponentially. I believe we are approaching the singularity. People often ask me, what worries you? I say I'm worried about climate change, because on climate change, we are running out of time. We all need to work towards the longevity of our planet. We only have one planet. So we need to take climate change seriously and play our part in order to leave our next generation with a planet that is livable. It is the responsibility of all of us to ensure we achieve net zero, not only by 2050, but much before that.
What if we don't do anything? As our journey unfolds, we invite your attention to the remainder of this event, which is replete with both somber reflections and hopeful prospects for our planet. To take us further on our journey, please welcome Shaista Asif, Group COO of PureHealth.
Thank you. Before I start, it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge the enthusiasm of the PureHealth family for our esteemed guests. While I am humbled and honored to be speaking here today, but the real heroes sit behind you. So for anyone who knows us, they'll tell you that we're very passionate about longevity. And we're extremely passionate about this topic. It's become synonymous with our name. But most people don't know why the topic of longevity. You see, longevity as a concept has very recently become popular, but the ethos behind longevity is as old as Time. In fact, the ethos is time. And why the passion for time? Time is most definitely the most valuable treasure that we have. And God, in all his fairness and glory, has given each one of us this gift equally, without prejudice or preference. If I were to imagine what was on the top of the wish list of the millions of people who came before us, I probably won't have to imagine, actually. It was more time. And today, we're in the fortunate position to make this dream a reality for the millions that are going to come after us. You see, we are in an era, in a location, and as Her Excellency, Mariam actually rightly pointed out, where the technological progress is there. The scientific innovation is happening at exponential speed. The mindset is there, and above all, the leadership of this country is visionary and enabling. So in a sense, all the stars are aligned, would you say? And when we speak about time, it's not possible to just talk about longevity of the human body without addressing longevity of the planet. More time for humans without working towards more time for our world. We human beings are completely dependent on the ecosystem that surrounds us, from the air we breathe, to what we eat, to what we absorb. The fact of the matter is, human health spans and lifespans are completely dependent on the planet. In fact, it was the British botanist Arthur George Tansley who coined the term ecosystem in 1937. So his concept encompasses all the mutual interactions of the various living species, all the different organisms with the physical environment, soil, air, climate. So under the idea of Tansley, human beings are just one more component of this ecosystem. Allow me to demonstrate an analogy. The miracle of the human body. It is made up of billions of cells that work collectively in a fashion unknown to them to keep the body intact and healthy. Now, when that body gets affected by trivial ailments like, say, a viral infection, the cells in the body get disturbed, and they notice an imbalance, and the white blood cells start multiplying to fight the infection, and they don't stop till the balance has been restored. The cells know they have to protect the body. Now let's look at a more severe example. The body gets affected by cancer. Cancer introduces abnormal cells in the body which affect the healthy ones till the body eventually perishes, and the cells, completely oblivious to the impact of a body dying, don't even survive mere hours. If anything were to happen to the physical body, the cells will not be able to survive, healthy or unhealthy. Now imagine our planet as a human body, and us human beings being the cells in that body. And while I'm not the first person to give you the bad news, and I certainly won't be the last, but our body is becoming cancerous. If our planet is suffering, we cannot ignore it. It affects us. And as you can see from examples all over the world, if the body is suffering, the cells, we human beings, are dying. There is one flaw in my analogy. The human body needs cells to survive and vice versa. But while we need our planet to survive, the planet doesn't really need us. You see, if you want to save a species, you don't spend the time staring at the bird, in our case, staring at a human to save. You look at the things it relies on to live instead. You ask, is there enough to breathe, to eat, to drink? Does it have enough to survive? We keep talking about climate change, But no matter what happens, the planet will outlive us. It is we who are at risk. It's time we reframe how we think and talk about climate cancer. Our vision is time for humanity. And that isn't possible without fighting for the health of our planet. And we human beings, being the cells that operate within this planet, need to bring the balance that enables a longer, healthier, happier life for the planet. And an extension, by default, a longer, healthier, happier life for us. More time to live more, do more, love more, and be more. Thank you.
What world are we leading our children into? How does the future of our planet really look? Is it really now or never? Please welcome Farhan Malik, Group CEO of PureHealth.
Overconsumption, destruction of forests, pollution of the seas. How is it possible that we, the most intelligent beings that ever walked this planet, are destroying our only home? Yet we continue to destroy it at ever greater speed. You see, the compounded impact of our growing population is now directly threatening our very own existence. Many of times, nature determined how we survived. Now, for the first time, we determine how nature will survive. Consider these facts. 96% of the mammals on our planet today are comprised of us humans and the livestock that we have domesticated. And only 4% is everything else, from elephants to badgers to tigers to bats. So much so that 70% of all birds on our planet today are now domesticated poultry. You see, since the 1970s, we have lost 60% of vertebrate species and 80% of insect species. As we lose species, we also lose the extraordinary capacity of natural systems to breathe life into the resources that allow us to live at a fundamental existential level. But do we care? Each year we waste 1.3 billion tons of food, which is equivalent to 1/3 of the annual food supply. And we only recycle 9% of all plastics. That means unless it's been burnt, every single piece of plastic ever made still exists on this planet and is probably inside us or inside our children in some form. Furthermore, the climate change crisis is interlocked with the nexus of other global crises, like climate refugees, political crisis, and perhaps, most importantly, a collective moral crisis. Within the next decade or so, we are going to pass a number of tipping points from where recovery would be next to impossible. And to stay below the 1.5 degrees as per the Paris Agreement, we must emit less than 250 billion tons of carbon dioxide. But at our current rate, if we continue to emit 40 billion tons of CO2, our time and our budget will run out within the mere next 7 years. So you see, we're already observing the aftermaths of rising sea levels, failed harvests, food, water, and energy insecurity. And we shouldn't be ignorant and think that it won't affect us. This climate cancer is going to affect us all. We are all in trouble, and we are on a highway to climate hell with our foot on the accelerator. And unfortunately, we are stealing our children's future. How will we explain our ignorance and our lack of action to our children?
We live the future you have created. You have failed us. Our world is unlivable. Our childhoods stolen.
Stolen forever.
What happened to your promises? What happened to our future?
Our lands are bare. Our oceans dry. The world is burning. The planet lost.
Lost forever.
You had the means, and you did nothing. Why? Why didn't you do anything?
You robbed us of our tomorrows. Our dreams are barren, wasted, gone.
Gone forever.
Your ignorance has condemned us to days of darkness, a life not worth living, a world without hope.
How could you abandon us? Is this your legacy? How dare you be so selfish? How dare you?
Perhaps this realization will give us the motivation we need to rewrite their future. As far as we know, on our planet, there have been 5 major events of mass extinction. Events caused by changes so severe that many species simply surrendered to extinction and ceased to exist. We watch cartoons about some of these creatures and have toys to remember them with. And the hard reality right now is that we're in the midst of Earth's 6th mass extinction. One every bit as profound and as far-reaching as that which wiped out the dinosaurs. Shaista rightly pointed out, this fight for climate change is actually a fight for our survival. It's true, we have inherited an ecosystem that is layered and complex, but it's our ecosystem. It's our home. And the irony is that the destruction of our home comes down to a single number, just a single number, the concentration of carbon in our atmosphere. A single unit of measure that determines global temperatures. And the change in that one number defines our relationship with our planet. This year, the world will evaluate exactly where we stand when it comes to climate progress, thanks to the first global stocktake scheduled to take place right here in the UAE at the COP28. But we already know what the outcome will be. And it's ugly. The world is way off track. And we need a major, major course correction. Whatever happens over the next century will be determined by how we played our cards in this very decade, especially in the next few years. The UAE is blessed with leadership that has actively invested its wealth in the health of its nation. A leadership that has balanced economic growth together with environmental responsibility and put climate action at the heart of the development agenda. So, we are already in the midst of the 4th industrial revolution, which will power millions of sustainable innovations. So we must embrace AI, machine learning, and all the transformative technologies available to us. We must transform the way we work, the way we live, the way we think. As this transformation is not only our weapon against climate change, but also a great opportunity for progress and economic growth. I believe in our lifetime, we will approach the singularity, a new era where we move into the fifth industrial revolution, where man and machine come into unison. And as the world is changing, so should we. So at PureHealth, we are transforming the way we think, the way we look at sick care, patient access, and the overall concept of healthcare. So to ensure transparency of our actions, we have aligned our plans with the international standards of SBTi. And with the science-based targets, I'm extremely excited and proud to say that PureHealth is committing to achieving net zero by the year 2040. This commitment reflects our dedication to two core objectives. One, the longevity of our planet is critical for the mission, for the longevity of our people. No planet, no people. And two, promoting and sharing sustainable healthcare practices with all our peers and colleagues through collaboration, partnership, to win this war against climate change. Avoiding a climate disaster is one of the greatest challenges humanity has ever faced. Therefore, we have to set aggressive near-term targets. Addressing the near-term targets is something which should be shared with everybody, and we at PureHealth emphasize the point that action has to be taken now. So our transformative efforts are recognized on day one. You see, since the beginning of the first industrial revolution, globally, we have emitted over 2,400 billion tons of carbon dioxide. And to honor the Paris Agreement, we collectively, and I mean collectively, need to reduce our emissions within a very, very short time span. Which is why at PureHealth, we are committing to powering our operations with 100% renewable energy by the year 2027. And more importantly, our target is to reduce 50% of our overall emissions by the year 2030. I can proudly say that PureHealth is the first and only healthcare company in the Middle East that is part of the United Nations-backed Race to Zero initiative. And we collaborate with a pantheon of global networks of like-minded organizations to ensure that our actions are meaningful, collaborative, and more importantly, globally aligned. Many of you know that there has been a consolidation of healthcare assets within PureHealth. And that has resulted in all of these assets working collectively towards a single vision of longevity, something that wasn't there before. So our teams have been working tirelessly over the last 2 years to build a comprehensive roadmap, and our decarbonization roadmap unites technology at every aspect of how we work, moving away from the traditional brick and mortar way of delivering healthcare to our vision of taking healthcare to the cloud, delivering care to the edge, personalized to each individual to ensure we keep them healthy and prevent them from becoming sick. I often think to myself, what would the world look like in 20, 30, 40 years from now? We saw a glimpse earlier if we do nothing to overcome this crisis. So I offer you an alternative to that future, one where your and my children will live the lives they are meant to. You know, there are moments in history when humanity comes together to stand to a common threat. And most recently, we collectively, and I mean collectively, fought a viral pandemic. And while we may have won that battle, we must now rise together to fight the threat of this climate war. It's a remarkable time to be alive. But unlike other generations in human history, we carry a great responsibility to act decisively. Because no other species has been as remotely, as clever, or ingenious as us human beings. So let us live up to that universal stature. It comes down to this. The generation that will follow will look back at this very moment and ask one simple question. Did you do everything in your power to leave a better future for us? I have every reason to believe that that answer can be yes. So for the sake of our children's future, let us begin the work that will witness a wonderful recovery to a wonderful world towards the longevity of our planet. Thank you.